man behind the curtain. I'm going to start with the mocks, and then I'll show you kind of an app in construction because there are certain things that haven't been fleshed out yet. And I'm also going to give everyone here a call to action because I could really use your guys' help on some of the biz dev around this. So we have the Prime Pools application. And this application is basically treating these liquidity pools a bit like index funds. If you're familiar with PrimeDAO or Balancer protocol, basically you have a number of tokens that are part of a pool, a Balancer pool. And so when you deposit collateral to the pool, it handles all the swaps, and it returns to you a pool token, which represents a share of that pool. And last November, Curve Labs developed a governance application. So in Alchemy, in the mainnet version of PrimeDAO, we can actually set the parameters of the Prime pool, which is the DAO governed pool, or it is a DAO governed pool, which is pretty exciting because all of these other pools have centralized governance or no governance at all. So going through this application, you can see that we have an all pools page. We have a couple of pools that we want to flesh out. One of them we're calling the DeFi 7+1. And this is something that directly connects with Prime Rating, because the idea is we'll create a pool of 8 tokens that are the most safe tokens, or are tokens that have mitigated smart contract risk, in some meaningful way. And we think this pool has a lot of potential for consumers, because smart contract risk is one of the #1 concerns right now for people who are just getting into the space. Another pool we're looking at, we're calling the DGov pool, and this is a pool that will focus on decentrally governed organizations, basically putting them together and creating a product or an investable product for folks that want to invest in DAOs and exclusively DAOs. So, these are pioneers. These are organizations that are doing interesting things like ourselves in an unconventional way. And, there should be an investment product for this pool. Now, the call to action that I want to put out to you guys is to think of more pools that could exist and could be governed by PrimeDAO. The sky's the limit here. There are stablecoin pools that exist. There are lots of different types of pools that exist, and I think it would be really, really cool, if we could reach out to some of these other projects and fund the liquidity of each pool. So if we have a pool of 5 DeFi blue chips, just as an example, it would be great if each one of them would be willing to commit some tokens from their treasury or from their community fund, whatever they may have, to getting this new liquidity pool product out there. So moving through the app, we have an individual pool page, spark lines denominating price. At a certain point, we'll be able to link to the data that is coming out of Prime Rating, so that folks will be able to get all of that information on each token directly in this interface, or maybe it'll drive out to Prime Rating to start. We're still figuring that out. Information on the pool. We have a transaction history, and this is live, and it's pretty exciting because we're the only index app on Ethereum right now that actually provides users with this level of feedback information. When pools have farms, there will be notifications in the application, so you'll be able to see. We also created, Curve Labs created a scheme so that we could deploy and load farming contracts for any one of these pools. So when PrimeDAO is governing a pool, it could say, hey, I want to farm this pool. I want to set aside 100,000 Prime to do it. And this is a way for us to create incentives to boost liquidity around some of these pools as they're launched. And we have a page for the Prime token, just giving some information around this. It's kind of important for us to have this be a token sync. for the Prime token. So we want to have Prime embedded in a lot of PrimeDAO governed pools. You know, we want this to be something that you know, is an important part of this interface that's built on Balancer. So if you want to see the app under construction, you can go to daofi.eth.link. That's DAOFI.eth.link. I'm going to throw it in the Zoom chat. Dun, dun, dun. And we should have the Prime pool. Yes, so the Prime pool, which is already live, is loading in this application. And you can see it sort of doing its thing. Still a lot of work to be done on the individual pool pages, but for like the all pool page, we can see everything is functioning as expected. I don't know if this, oh, I'm not connected to Web3, but you can explore this yourself. Take a look at it. Very pleased. I think Doug is doing awesome work. Go Doug, you're amazing. And yeah, happy to take questions, you know, ideas, feedback.
There's a little more you could show that is working in there, but maybe it's not important.
I would say people can do it asynchronously. Let them explore and find bugs.
I have one question, I would say, or one main question, and it relates to gas costs, as those have been ridiculously high, especially at this moment. Gas is like 400. I know that PrimeDAO does this oven thing where they kind of aggregate a lot of requests and then execute them in one transaction. Is there already something in mind on how we could do something similar to that, or where we could maybe instead move these assets to a layer 2 solution and then the pool lives on a layer 2 solution like XDAI or Loopring?
Yeah, I think both of those are totally valid, you know, strategies for dealing with this. In terms of the baking future that PrimeDAO has, we haven't started on anything like this yet. It wasn't in the scope, but I think it's something that we should work on, you know, probably for the next cycle, or we should look at the way they did it, you know, and find something similar that sort of optimizes for gas costs, because I don't think gas is going down anytime soon. And if we are going to use the mainnet, you know, that is a pretty important thing. But I also think, you know, maybe XDAI is a solution here. The problem with that is that it has far less liquidity than Ethereum proper. And there is a need to, you know, sort of redeploy the balancer contracts on XDAI. And so there's kind of a development effort around there too. So for now, you know, we are focusing on this product, you know, just getting it out as it is, as imperfect as it is, even with the gas costs. But, you know, we should optimize it over time. And I think part of, you know, the raise that we're doing should be, you know, designated for continuing to optimize this application and integrate it with the rest of our suite.
Wonderful. Cool. Thanks for that.
If I can add to that, I think, like, you know, even just 3 or 4 months down the road, the layer 2, you know, ecosystem is going to become a lot clearer than it is right now. You know, there are a lot of options that are starting to get traction, and I think, you know, obviously, if we could do something now, we would be, you know, kind of at the leading edge of that. But at the same time, we could do something now and find out that it's on a layer 2 solution that never gets any traction. Whereas if we, you know, hold off and wait for that to finalize, there's going to be a lot better tools that help us do it faster.